The laughter hit him like a physical blow, sharp and echoing across the marble driveway. "Wrong gate, buddy," the guard sneered, his eyes raking over Ethan's grease-stained shirt and the scuffed boots that had walked more miles than he could count. He clutched an old, worn-out backpack, but his other hand held something far more precious, the tiny hand of his daughter, Lily. She couldn't be older than 6. Her eyes, wide and innocent, shimmered with a hope that felt dangerously fragile. His own eyes held something differenter, hard, unyielding determination forged in fire. But then Ethan did something unexpected. He slowly, deliberately rolled up his sleeve. The fabric moved to reveal a faded military tattoo, a symbol etched into his skin, surrounded by scars that told stories no amount of money could ever buy. The guard's smirk didn't just fade, it evaporated. A flicker of recognition, then unease crossed his face. Ethan Cole hadn't come here to beg for scraps. He had come to collect what was rightfully his. Just 5 years ago, he wasn't a man in stained clothes. He was Captain Cole, a decorated veteran, an elite engineer, the kind of genius that billionaires trusted to build technology capable of changing the very nature of modern warfare. He was on top of the world until a contract went sideways. A brutal betrayal buried him under a mountain of debt, stripped him of his sterling reputation, and left him to raise a little girl all by himself after his wife's tragic accident. He had built cutting-edge robots with unparalleled precision, crafted brilliant military strategies that saved lives. And now he was building a future for his daughter with nothing but a father's love and countless sleepless nights. But the world has a short memory. It didn't care that he walked away from a fortune to be by his dying wife's side. It only cared about the whispers that followed him everywhere he went. Failed, bankrupt, a total nobody. And now, here he stood outside the opulent mansion of Adrian Vale, the very man who had stolen his designs, his life's work, and shamelessly sold them as his own. But this wasn't about revenge. He'd learned that vengeance was an empty pursuit. This was about redemption. It was all for her. The guard, now visibly nervous, took a step forward. "Sir," he said, his voice strained, "you can't just walk in here." Ethan didn't even look at him. He didn't meet the guard's panic with anger. Instead, he crouched down, his movements gentle, and tenderly wiped a single tear from his daughter's cheek. "Close your eyes, Lily," he whispered, his voice soft but steady. "Daddy's gonna fix what's broken." Lily nodded, a sad understanding in her eyes, as if she'd heard those same words far too many times before. With every step he took toward those imposing iron gates, memories crashed over him like a tidal wave. His wife's last words, a desperate plea echoing in his soul. "Promise me you'll fight for her future." The face of the business partner who vanished into thin air, taking everything with him. The long, exhausting nights spent patching up broken drones just so he could afford a new pair of school shoes for Lily. He rolled his sleeve up higher, revealing the full insignia. The guard stared, his breath catching in his throat as he finally recognized it. It was the mark of the military's top-tier engineering division, restricted, almost mythical unit. The men who wore that mark were legends, inventors whose creations had saved countless lives on forgotten battlefields. That's restricted indexing, the guard stammered, his bravado gone, replaced by a deep-seated awe. Yeah, Ethan said quietly, his gaze fixed on the mansion. The wrong man to laugh at. By the time Ethan walked through the grand entrance, Adrian Vale was already there, waiting. Shock was etched into his perfectly manicured features. "Ethan," Vale said, his voice a low, disbelieving whisper. "You shouldn't be here. You're right," Ethan replied, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the storm brewing inside him. "But neither should those patents you have locked away in your vault. They're not yours to sell." Vale's face hardened. "You walked away, Ethan. You abandoned everything." "I walked toward my family," Ethan corrected him, his voice unwavering. A heavy pause hung in the air, thick with 5 years of unspoken history. "Your silence, your betrayal, it cost me everything," Ethan continued, his voice dropping low. "Now I'm just asking for what's fair. Not for me." He glanced back through the open doorway, motioning to the small figure of his daughter waiting patiently at the gate. For her, something in Adrian Vale shifted. Maybe it was the crushing weight of guilt finally breaking through his defenses. Or maybe, just maybe, it was the memory that he, too, had once been a father before ambition consumed him. Minutes later, the paperwork was in Ethan's hands. His designs, his rights, his future, returned. He stepped back out into the bright sunlight, the heavy documents feeling as light as a feather. Lily saw him and ran, her little legs pumping as fast as they could. She leaped into his arms, and he held her tight, burying his face in her hair. "Daddy," she said softly, her voice muffled against his shoulder, "did you fix it?" He kissed her forehead, a feeling of profound peace washing over him. "I did better," he whispered. "I fixed us." As they began to walk away, leaving the mansion and its ghosts behind, the guard called out after them. "Sir," Ethan turned. I'm sorry, I didn't know who you were." Ethan offered a faint, tired smile. He pulled his daughter even closer, her warmth a shield against the cold world. "It doesn't matter who I was," he said, his voice clear and strong. "What matters is who I am now, a father, a fighter, and a man that no one would ever underestimate again."